Welcome back, times and newcomers. I'd like to apologize to State's attorney. Last episode we found out Lamiroir was trying to hide something, and she wasn't as useful as we originally thought she would be. And we found out Maki Tobai, of all people, was not actually blind. This should change everything. Let's figure out how.
Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, Air Forehead?
Huh? Me?
Maki Tobai pretended he was blind. Do you know why?
How could he know?
Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he?
He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time.
Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? Know that the moment I heard that report, I knew why.
I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else. What does that have to do with anything?
There was a reason why Maki Tobai pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now.
It wasn't for himself? Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness? Yes. Maki had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means, no, it couldn't be.
Good show, Air Forehead. It seems you've thought of something.
Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I hate having to take my cues from this guy. Very well. Look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see. Because of... That is Lamiroir? Lamiroir and Maki Tobai. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country.
Lamiroir and her pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she'd lead him to the piano. She'd walk all the way over there with him.
That's right, because he was blind. She led him at all times, never letting him go. All times? Yet we have just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Maki could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time? Well, wasn't it part of their, performance? I think there's a simpler explanation. Maki did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing.
Huh? Ah! Really?
Really, it was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamiroir. What? What's this? So you mean to say that Lamiroir is... Yes, Your Honor. Lamiroir is blind.
What?
Order! 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 This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin!
Is it now?
Please shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim.
The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is his vast forehead. Yet I see it is not vast in vain. Well, this time. He's quite correct.
But that makes no sense!
Yeah! Wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter of sound or something?
Well, since we have her here, why not ask Lamiroir herself? I believe she is still in the witness waiting room.
Apollo, what does this mean for our case?
Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now. Bailiff, bring in Lamiroir!
Lamiroir, it pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way, and yet I must.
Please, do not be concerned on my behalf.
Those eyes, she really can't see. Really?
It is true. How funny it is that a tiny lie born in the Borginian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world.
So you are?
Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamiroir. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamiroir.
I see.
You may recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial, Forehead.
What's that?
I believe I said that it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses.
Ah.
Now, Lamiroir, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes?
Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here. I think we're all a bit lost here, Your Honor. Lamiroir's eyes.
I have no memory of the light. My debut was in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this, so, silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
But this is a murder trial.
I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret, no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would...
She told us the truth in the beginning. When she said she saw nothing.
Very well. Does the defense have anything to add? I'd like to cross-examine.
But what is there left to ask?
There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me.
Perhaps it is best we let you get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself.
Very well, the defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness. Okay, there was only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy. Lamiroir's eyes. The part we're supposed to ask about, if my memory is correct, that is, no pun intended, is this one. When you say your staff, do you include Mr. LeTouse?
Of course. He was my manager.
So he knew, and that's what's been bugging me. Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. You were thinking of when you discovered the body, yes?
Huh.
Is he right, Apollo?
Yes, I was. He's alive! Mr. LeTouse, can you hear me?
Cold, so cold. Witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Mr. LeTouse. Tell me, who is the witness?
The witness is Ren.
Mr. LeTouse told me to ask the witness, and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind.
I don't know.
Huh.
What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself.
Meaning what?
There is no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more.
The witness? Siren? We've heard them many times, along with a little play acting by our defense.
I remember them well myself, but that statement is not to what I refer. I mean what he said before that.
Before? What came before that? Ah!
That's right. He tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness.
I see.
Too bad the defense did not. Well, Airforehead, try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time.
Ah! Order!
Recall Lamiroir's earlier testimony.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
But you couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that.
That is not the most important point here.
Huh?
The moment he was shot, Mr. LeTouse witnessed her through that window. Why else would he have named her as the witness?
Ah!
But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots, and a man's voice.
Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We've already run a simulation, of course.
But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant.
Your Honor,
What is it, Bailiff? Can you see we're in a session here?
we have the results back from the investigation.
The investigation?
Ah, the Interpol numbers that Mr. LeTouse left us.
Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterwards. Detective Crescend, your report, please.
I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing.
Quick work as always, Daryan.
Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent?
IPXX314206. The agent registered under that number was Romein LeTouse.
What?
Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. LeTouse himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation.
So, when he wrote those letters...
He was trying to tell us his own identity. And a cautious killer tried to wipe them away.
Mr. LeTouse was an undercover Interpol agent. So him being Lamiroir's manager...
was just a cover, most likely.
There's one other important detail I found.
Well, out with it.
It concerns that 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently it belonged to Romein LeTouse. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms. And the registration number on the revolver matched.
So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver.
So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. I wonder how that ties into everything.
It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think.
Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescend. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out.
Hold it! Wait!
Lamiroir, is something the matter?
That voice just now.
Daryan?
Mr. Daryan, is it? It was him. I am sure of it.
It was him?
You aren't saying...
That voice I heard, talking to Mr. LeTouse, when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him! It was Mr. Daryan!
Is this some kind of a joke?
What?
No way!
The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state the trial had to be suspended temporarily. I had never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Lamiroir fingering Daryan Crescend, and not only is he a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice Lamiroir heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it.
Hey! No whipping out now, Apollo!
Ooh, things just got good. Let's continue, shall we? Save! To the final investigation. July 9th, 212, Wright Anything Agency.
Hey, Apollo!
What?
Well, you know, actually nothing. I mean, something. Or maybe not.
Out with it! The suspense is giving me an ulcer.
Well, you know, the trial today? I was thinking. If you gave it a score, what score would you give it?
Score? Gee. I guess I would, maybe, well... Bah! I'm just as bad as you.
See? It's so vague.
Clearly. Maki avoided a guilty verdict, which is something. Though I can't say I'm any less confused about the case.
I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing. IPXX314206. The agent registered under that number was Romein LeTouse.
And the victim, Mr. LeTouse. Who would have guessed he was actually an undercover Interpol agent? What a mess. And we don't have any idea what he was investigating.
Well, true, but we know who shot him now. Lamiroir told the whole court.
Wait! That voice just now. It was him. I am sure of it. That voice I heard talking to Mr. LeTouse when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Daryan.
It's another mystery, Apollo. I love mysteries.
I don't. Speaking of mysteries, what's Mr. Wright up to? Wouldn't mind asking his opinion.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen Daddy around.
Yeah, we haven't seen him since the last case. That is kind of weird. What, is he some kind of stray that just wanders in and out at will?
I wouldn't say that, but he has been going out a lot. Some top secret mission, he said.
Top secret?
Anyway, you can't just rely on him to save the day. And you've got me to help you. We'll be fine.
Fine, right. Well, time's a wasting, as they say. Let's investigate.
That's the spirit.
So we shall. Alright. First place we gotta move to is the Sunshine Coliseum, which we have yet to be at. Let's check it out. July 9th, Sunshine Coliseum.
Woo! What a great day. It's perfect weather for sleuthing.
Sure, if perfect weather is nice, a nice backdrop behind you with nobody moving around and a static blimp in the air. The weather matters for an investigation?
Don't some days just feel like magic days or defense days?
Sure. Let's get started, shall we?
Right on! Show us your stuff, Apollo.
What stuff?
Your voice training. This is the perfect place for it.
I did enough at home, thanks.
Aw, there's no need to be shy. Keep that up and you'll never make it on the big stage.
I'm happy in the courtroom, thank you. I am a lawyer.
Then you're in luck, because it's lawyer weather today. Don't you just want to face the blue sky and shout, OBJECTION!
Look, the weather has nothing to do with lawyers. Let's get going already. Seriously, Trucy. Stop trying to get me to use my cords of steel. July 9th, backstage hallway. Lamiroir.
Mr. Attorney.
Lamiroir! I'm sorry about today,
There is nothing you need to apologize for. You were merely defending Maki.
Are you okay? Alone, I mean.
Humans are blessed with 5 senses. Even robbed of one, we get by. No, it does make being a witness rather difficult.
Speaking of seeing, you knew who we were before we spotted you just now. And we weren't even talking.
I heard your footsteps several times the day before.
Oh, you must have great ears.
Ears that heard the crime taking place. Or so she claimed yesterday. But how? Let's find out. That voice. That was quite a statement you made today in court. About hearing Daryan Crescend's voice at the scene of the crime.
I did not know his name. But I never forget the voice. Wait!
Lamiroir, is something the matter?
That voice just now. It was him. I am sure of it.
No way!
As I said in court, I was on my way backstage from the stage. And that is when I heard his voice.
I'm guessing Daryan and Mr. LeTouse were talking about something?
The next moment I heard those gunshots.
Why didn't you call security?
To be honest, though the noise was quite frightening, I never imagined the gunshots might be real. And I was in quite a hurry myself. I left the scene at once.
So, it really was Daryan's voice that she heard.
Yeah. At least she certainly thinks it was. Maki.
I met Maki before my debut as Lamiroir. I was singing in a restaurant in Virginia.
And he was playing the piano?
Yes. He was very kind to me when he learned I could not see.
Is that when you started playing opposites? With Maki pretending he couldn't see?
No. It wasn't then. That began after our major debut. After I became known as the landscape painter in sound.
It must have been tough for Maki. Pretending he couldn't see and all the while acting as your eyes.
We held hands always. He would write with his finger on my palm to signal to me things I should know. He is a smart, gentle boy.
I think I see what she's getting at. Maki would never harm a soul. Tell me about Mr. LeTouse. About Mr. LeTouse.
Ah, yes. He was an Interpol agent, I hear.
So you had no idea?
Of course not. No one did.
I guess that's what it means to be undercover.
But someone was after him. They had to know who he really was.
Why did he pose as my manager? I do not understand.
You have no idea?
I can only assume that he was investigating me. But why?
What makes you think that?
Perhaps it is not so, but I cannot deny the possibility. Because of my condition. As my present is veiled in darkness, so too is my past clouded from memory.
Clouded, right. Darkness.
The darkness that I fear is not the darkness that I see whenever I open my eyes. The real darkness lies in my heart.
In your heart?
I have no memory of the time before I became Lamiroir. I awoke from darkness into darkness, you might say. I was singing in a restaurant those days.
What was it that she said about not being able to remember the light?
I do not know my past. Perhaps I committed some terrible crime in my past. Everything before becoming Lamiroir is lost to me.
But I don't think you...
I can think of no other explanation. Why else would an agent of Interpol approach me?
Do you think your past might be related to this case?
No way! That seems really unlikely to me. I mean, you're such a sweet person, Lamiroir.
I thank you. Maki too tells me this often when I fear who I might have been.
That's freaking adorable. Alright, where else can we go? Let's go back to see if we can talk to Maki in the detention center. I think that's what we're supposed to do. So why not? Detention center. July 9th, detention center. Visitor's room. Maki may not be guilty, but he's still a suspect.
But they don't have any decisive evidence.
Yeah, but only someone as small as him could have gotten out of that room.
Right. The air vent.
And he lied.
Lied?
Maki Tobai can see.
Maki!
Speak of the devil.
He looks like he's doing okay.
I forget. Why did we come here? It's not like we can talk to him or anything.
Words are overrated. Feelings are what matter, Apollo.
It's kind of hard to build a court case on feelings. But, since we're here anyway, might as well get what I want to say off my chest.
If you need someone to complain to, I'll listen.
I think she's actually worried for me. Alright, Maki. Let's see what kind of information we can get out of you.
So, what did you think of the trial today? I'm glad he doesn't understand English after all. If he did, he would have been scared out of his mind by that trial.
Hey, all's well that ends well. You have to be more goal-oriented. If he's not guilty, we win.
No, if he's innocent, we win. Maki might not understand English, but I bet he gets that better than you do.
Huh? What the freak? Why is my bracelet going off?
I'm glad Lamiroir testified. What a great person. She even got Maki off the hook by naming another suspect.
Daryan of the Gaviners, the detective. I wonder if Maki knows what happened. I mean, if he could follow how the trial went and all. If no one told him there's a new suspect, how would he know? Hey!
What is it, Apollo?
No, it's nothing. I must be imagining it.
Imagining what, Apollo?
It's just, I couldn't help but feel that, I don't know, Maki, he doesn't understand what we're saying, right?
How could he? He's a young Burgundian. He doesn't speak English.
Yeah, but my bracelet is reacting to him.
Huh? Maybe it's malfunctioning. Or it's scared because you keep making those I'm so mad faces.
Was I that bad? Maki lied about not being able to see, but what if that's not at all he lied about?
If you're curious about it, there's only one thing to do. You should ask him.
I think it'll take something big to get to him. Some kind of undeniable evidence. We'll be back, Maki. Alright, well, it looks like it's about time to end the episode here. So rate, comment, subscribe, favorite, and I'll see you guys in the next epic episode of Apollo Justice.
Lamiroir fingering Daryan Crescend? Oh my.